What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Relo Show. I am Sean Richards, my co-host today, Mr. Mark Sullivan. Thanks so much for joining us today. If you've watched us in the past, you've noticed that we are missing our third amigo here, Candido Diaz. He's up in Washington lobbying for all of us mortgage people. So, Mark, what's going on? Just you and me today, buddy.
What is happening? What is happening?
It's been an interesting week so far. Lots of activity, lots of movement in the mortgage market. And I know in my business, what's been going on with you this past week?
Definitely an uptick in things to do, right? An uptick. I don't want to give away my wins, but uptick in conversations in general, for sure. Based on when this is being recorded, which is March of 2024.
Well, for those of you who've been tuning in lately, last week we kicked off talking about AI and ChatGPT. We talked about kind of the ideation process last week. We talked about prompt building. We're going to go a little bit deeper into AI and ChatGPT this week. We're talking about content creation, all kinds of different content that you can create or create and review leveraging ChatGPT. But before we get into that, as always, we start with our wins and losses. So, Mark, why don't you dive into your wins and losses for the week?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely an uptick in just overall home buyer conversations. I'm seeing pre-approvals that kind of stalled out or went dry a few weeks or over the last quarter to 2 quarters have all of a sudden come back to life, and they've started creating more conversation, which is good because the conversations we're having today are better interest rates than the conversations they were having before, right? So they're maybe more excited to have those conversations going into spring. Maybe the monthly payment is just a little bit lower. Nothing to move mountains, but it is enough to get them out there looking and to spur a sense of urgency behind what they're doing. I also joined a new networking group, a new referral group that we talked about that last week. I'm already getting referrals out of that. It seems to be a really awesome group that I'm really excited to be a part of. Losses, my clients keep losing offers, and we're working on that. But I think it comes with just a busier uptick in an overall market. Is that a lot of listings are going with multiple offers and are going very quick. So we'll just keep putting them out there.
Well, we are seeing the market pick up, and with the shortage of inventory that a lot of markets around the country have, that doesn't surprise me. I know we're starting to see something similar in my market as well here in Dallas-Fort Worth. As far as my wins and losses, I would say my biggest win for this past week, so it came yesterday. Recently brought a new loan officer under my wing on my team, and he started yesterday. Yesterday was day one. He's getting acclimated, set up with everything, and he is already off and running. He's got a number of clients and agents that are excited about the move for him, and so that was a big win for our team and myself yesterday. My loss, man, I have found a way to get sick every single month so far this year. I've been out, 3 to 4 days every single month this year. I've been down and out, sinus stuff. It's been bad. So I need to get my health under control going forward this year. Because if I go 12 for 12 in months that I get some sort of sick, I'm going to chalk 2024 up as a bad year, despite what else potentially happens. But yeah, so that was this week. But looking forward, brighter days, feeling nice and fresh today. So ready to get into it. Man, I'm excited for today's content, Mark. A lot of loan officers, real estate agents have all gotten glimpses of AI and what they can do with it, ChatGPT, and I think some out there still maybe think it's kind of this novel functionality that, okay, well, it's nice, it's a toy, I don't know that it will really help me in my day-to-day activities. I think a lot more starting to come around to the fact that it is a highly valuable tool. Funny quote I saw, I say quote, funny video I saw Mark Cuban on a video the other day. Mark Cuban, owner of the Dallas Mavericks, I guess, he sold a portion of it. But anyways, Mark Cuban, owner of the Dallas Mavericks, came out and said, if you are in business and you're not leveraging AI, you may not be in business for that much longer. And that was pretty interesting coming from Mark Cuban, the billionaire who built his fortune on tech. So really, really profound words from Mark Cuban. And so we're going to talk about it today. Mark, you're going to dive into some key content creation. So why don't I pass the baton back over to you and share with us what you've got for today?
Sure. Let's see if I can figure out how to do that. Let's see if we go to present, share screen. I will get there eventually. Here we go. All right. So basically what we're what we're doing, and this is my personal chat GPT. So I'm gonna make sure that the titles are okay for public consumption. They are. All right. Basically what we're going to go over today is we're going to talk about utilizing or leveraging chat GPT in general, but there's other AI products out there you can use. But we're going to talk about OpenAI, and we're going to talk about making blog posts, just creating content, newsletters that you'll send out, creating content from scratch that you can use to share with your prospects, and you can teach your referral partners how to utilize this to send to their prospects. Whether it's something that you co-market with them, or it's just you empowering them to do it, in hopes you help them build their business, they help you build your business. And then we're going to go into social media content, some email follow-up campaigns and stuff like that. But we're going to break. Can you see this? Can you see this screen well enough? I know this is kind of smaller. I don't know if there's a way to make it bigger.
Yeah, I mean, we could do that.
Did I just make that bigger just now? Okay.
Yeah, it's across. Yeah.
Cool. So I'm going to touch on a few topics that we touched on, or I guess more specifically, I touched on last time, where I'll set this up for my presentation and for Sean's, is that garbage in, garbage out. You're going to get out of AI everything that you put into it. And what I mean by that is, let's see, okay, like the more detail that you give to ChatGPT, the better your output is going to be, right? So, for example, you want to designate a role for ChatGPT to play, right, or OpenAI to play. And so you'll say something like, suppose you're a real estate agent, and we'll just go ahead and top it out, right? Suppose
Let's build it. Yeah.
you are a real estate agent in Dallas, Texas. And let's use a smaller city. Let's use Kansas City, Missouri. And you'll say something like, with a focus on first-time homebuyers. These, I don't know, these buyers are 35 years old, and say these buyers are 35 years old, and see, and are, and let's just, and are married with one child. And then say you have created, and it doesn't matter what you do here. It's more about being specific with ChatGPT, right? So let's say you've created an ebook on first-time homebuyers. Sorry, first-time home buying grants. And then you want to say write a 4 to 5 paragraph just say article design, or no, let's say blog post. Let's say blog post about first time home buyer grants. The call to action is to download the ebook. And then we go back through and realize how terrible of a typer that Mark is. And we go with that, right? So in what we're doing here is we're being very specific. We didn't say, write me a blog post about first-time home buyer grants, right? You're a real estate agent. You gave them a town. You gave them your target market. And it can be something, and it doesn't have to be 10,000 words, but it's going to pump out a 4 to 5 paragraph blog post about first-time home buyer grants. And they're going to focus on the 35-year-old married with one kid in Kansas City market. And it's going to put it inside of that blog post for you. Keep in mind, this isn't a situation where whatever gets pumped out, you copy and paste it into your blog post. You certainly can do that, but you're not getting the most out of it. What you want to do is copy and paste this into a Word doc and then read it, right? Go through and change some of the wording to be something that you would say, that would come out of your mouth, or something that maybe is just a little bit more specific to your target exactly. OpenAI can do whatever you want it to do. After you're reading it, my first go-to is I'll read it. Whatever my first gut reaction that I didn't like about it would be change this or rewrite, but don't say, X, right? So I don't know what this ends up being. Maybe I should have done this prior to the video, but let's say I didn't like, okay, so maybe I made a mistake, right? Let's say rewrite, but don't exclude the Kansas side of Kansas City by saying no.
And what's cool about this, Mark, is, and you kind of alluded to this, but ultimately, as mortgage and real estate professionals, this gives us a really good starting point. It gives us a great outline, but ultimately we've got to filter this through the lens of our knowledge and expertise. And so getting, I guess a framework put together and expediting that process, right? Like, if we wanted to write, a blog post, for some of us, we can whip it together quickly. I would say, for others, not everybody is hyper creative. I know I'm not always hyper creative, and it would take me, several hours to brainstorm and think and write a blog post? I don't know, kind of where do you fall in that spectrum, Mark?
Yeah, I think a lot of people, especially in our industry, there are some people that are just creative, right, and just love to do that kind of stuff. I'd say 80 to 90% of the people in our industry don't fall into that category. Don't fall into hyper creative, or maybe you don't want to spend a lot of the time being that way, right? You just want you want to get the job done. You want it to be as effective as possible, and you want to do it without spending hours and hours and hours to accomplish that. And ChatGPT does that as long as you're providing enough information. And I think the biggest thing that we did here is you're telling ChatGPT who you are. uh, you're telling ChatGPT what it is, right? Who you are, what you do, and how your brand voice sounds. Um, and that's not something that we did in that post, but like if you all it knows everything. It knows everything about styles, writing styles. You could say, hey, write a Hormozy style blog post, or write it in the style of X marketer. Write it like Gary V would write it, or something like that, and it would do that it would do exactly as you say. um, but trying to get a little bit more specific before I take all the time on it. You want to break down your prompts into steps. Notice I didn't, especially when you're starting out. As you get more used to it, you can include it in one longer setup. But as you get used to it, breaking it down into smaller steps allows you to make mistakes, and it allows you, just like if you're shooting a video, when you're making an Instagram reel, right? Breaking it into sentences allows you to make mistakes and delete that mistake real quick. Hey, I didn't like that. Go back to what we originally did, but do this instead. If you just wrote 10 commands out in a paragraph and told ChatGPT to do it, it's hard to pull that one command back out and say, oh, I didn't like how I said that. I shouldn't have said it that way. If you break it into steps, it becomes a lot easier. You could always, my favorite one actually is, you can always ask ChatGPT, what are things I can tell you about myself, tell you about my business that could improve this post. And let ChatGPT be your creative there as well. If you're unsure exactly what to tell ChatGPT, let's see if it does what oh, okay. So I can give ChatGPT more defined examples about all of this stuff, and it will include that in that article for me. There, see, like and it will tell me what information it needs to be able to go and do that. Newsletters, blog posts, I'd say really they're the same. You want to use clear. Don't be lazy. Use clear prompts based on your intent, right? So, can you compare and contrast the advantages and disadvantages of investing in residential real estate versus commercial real estate for long-term wealth building, or something like that? It's a write write a different blog post about comparing and contrasting investing in commercial real estate versus residential real estate. One thing that one thing that I don't really see publicized a lot, but definitely gets results is treat, don't treat, don't be a bad boss. Treat this like your assistant. And what I mean by that is, um, don't be a jerk just because you think you're talking to a machine. You are talking to a machine. But if you're nice, it's nice. If you're rude and you say rude things, uh, Chat GPT is actually going to give that back to you, and that's not that's not productive. ChatGPT is going to do and act exactly as you tell it to and how you set the example. So be polite and actually praise ChatGPT, because you're going to get a better like. Thank you. You're excellent at understanding the key aspects of the real estate agent's difficulties in negotiating with sellers. Right. That's that's something. Um, I'm going to end this real quick and give this over to Sean. But you can other things to do is to give an outline. Right. Adhere to this analysis structure. Right. And you say something like one, introduction to the market, two, three, four, five, and you say this is for longer worded like blog posts or newsletters, but you can say things, if you give it an outline and say write 5 paragraphs, first paragraph, second, third, fourth, and fifth, give it like little mini topics, and it'll adhere to all of that stuff. It's an extremely powerful thing, that if you do things like that, um, I will let me in my share here. If you do things like that, you will get the most out of ChatGPT rather than spending hours trying to write this stuff yourself. You can ChatGPT will write it. It'll sound better. It'll look better, and you can adjust it a little bit to adhere to your writing style. But you can also tell ChatGPT. This is actually super important. Is if you adjust the tone in the reading level to what you say. I always like to say, um, the lower the reading level, the wider of an audience you're going to have. Right. For in most cases, I stick to a fourth grade reading level. For the most part, it's said to do anywhere between fourth and sixth grade reading level for anything for public consumption, is a good way to go about it. And like you said, you can say if you were setting a tone, you want to be cheerful and educational, or you want to be bubbly, or however you want to set the tone for it. Just tell ChatGPT to be that way, and it will. But I do want to hand this over to Sean, because Sean's going to go over writing social media posts. And I think that's one thing that everybody can relate to for sure.
Awesome. Hey, Mark, did I freeze out there for a minute? I don't know. I
Yeah,
think I lost some connectivity on my end.
yeah, you did a little
Yeah, I
bit,
did.
but
Okay.
it's back.
Good deal. All good, all good. Well, hey, I'm back, and so I'm excited to jump into some of the ways that I use ChatGPT. So I use it for a number of things. What I'm going to be covering today is talking about the writing and reviewing of emails, to fine tune that copy, to create and write social media content. And also, I'm going to dip into summarizing articles and how we can use ideation to use the ideation and iteration process to take content and turn it into other content. So with that being said, let me share my screen, and let me actually jump here, present share screen to my chat GPT. Awesome. So here is my chat GPT. I'm in one of my one of my threads here, one of my chats. But ultimately, I'm going to start a new chat, and, and let's see if I can work Yeah, to write and review emails with ChatGPT. On screen here is an email that I wrote for real estate agents. I have a strategy that I leverage and teach real estate agents the ultimate client review strategy. And so this is an email that I wrote, and so I'm going to actually just copy this whole email, and we're going to come over to ChatGPT. We've got a new chat, and I am going to say, you are a seasoned marketing manager with 20 years of experience. You are, you have kept up with modern marketing techniques and strategies. I am a mortgage professional who is who has created a weekly email campaign targeted at engaging real estate agents. Let's see, let me fix this here. Campaign. The goal of each email is to educate, entertain. Actually, we're going to take out educate and encourage the agents to to have new tools, resources, and strategies to implement into their business, so they can grow their business and client base. Review the below email and make any recommendations for improving engagement from agents. And actually, I'm going to go back in and say, hey, one more thing. I remember create email can reach real estate agents. The goal of each email is to educate and encourage the agents. The emails are also designed to showcase my knowledge in the industry and encourage the agents to reach out to me to partner up with their clients. All right, so there's my prompt, and then I've copied the email. I'm going to paste the email in there, and hit enter. And it's going to take ChatGPT just a moment, but far more advanced. You've got more up-to-date information. Let's see. Let's jump down. All right. So emails, well structured, covers elements designed to engage and educate real. So personalize the introduction. So my introduction is a form or a merge field. So it understands that. It just says, hey, make sure that that merge field pulls in the right piece. Segment your audience. Tailor your message based on the recipient's level of experience or interest. New agents might need more foundational advice. Great note there. Incorporate visuals. So bring visuals into the email. Interactive elements, polls, surveys, quizzes. Okay, I may or may not want to do that. Let's see, clear call to action. So my email actually has a call to action where the agents can click a button, schedule a strategy call with me. Says your CTA to schedule a strategy call is great. Make sure it stands out by using a button. So in my email, it was just text that was a hyperlink. ChatGPT says, hey, why don't you make it a button, make it stand out more, include testimonials and success stories, email subject line and preview text. I did not give it my subject line. I could have also in my prompt said the subject line of this email is, and written that out. It would have given me feedback on the subject line. Follow-up strategy, make sure I plan a follow-up strategy for those who engage in my email. So, ChatGPT is giving me instructions beyond just the email itself. Um, Analytics, A/B testing, provide immediate value. So, what does my email, is my email providing immediate value to the real estate agents that they can walk away with and implement? So some really good insight into the email that I can go through and decide, okay, what do I like from the recommendations? Are there any things that I specifically want to change in the email based on these recommendations? And so this is an example of just a simple, easy way to leverage ChatGPT in moments. You write out an email, or maybe you use ChatGPT to help write the email, and then you simply copy paste it back into ChatGPT and give it instructions on reviewing that email. So reviewing and writing emails. Let's see. So let's say that we wanted to take ChatGPT's example on this and recommendation says, please rewrite the email using the recommendations you have provided. Maintain the key elements of the original email. All right, so let's see what that gives us there. So now we're asking to completely rewrite the email with changes that it that are recommended. Gives us our subject line. Now, we could have write that and we get even better details. ChatGPT loves its emojis, so it loves to throw that in there. You could always tell it not to use emojis if you didn't want to include emojis in your email or your content that you're writing. So it basically, it reformatted it. It kept a lot of the same information. It's got your, it maintained a call to action right here, schedule a strategy call. And so it shortened it, which to be fair, my original email, quite long. This has already been sent out to agents. And, and some of the feedback I got that it was quite long, TLDR, ChatGPT, and I wanted to send it out over multiple days or multiple weeks. So let's go back up and let's edit our prompt that we just did. And let's say, based on the original email, I would like to break the email up into 5 separate emails to send out to agents over the course of a week. Please write, let's see, please break up the original email into 5 digestible, I can't spell, digestible emails building on each other to be sent out over the course of 1 week. Let's see. Basically, all right. The email, each email should reference back to the previous email, while all emails should have a clear CTA to reach out to schedule a call with me and showcase me as an industry expert. We say ask any additional questions you need to have the best response. And so now it's going go in and it's going to break up that original email 5 separate emails for me, and then I can simply review the additional changes. Most likely I would want to go through and tweak those a little bit, put them a little bit more in my voice. But you can see here, email 1, introduction to success strategies, kickstart your 2024, unleash your real estate potential. Right. So it's basically introducing the ultimate client review strategy. It's basically going to write all 5 of those emails for me. So really simple, easy ways to leverage ChatGPT with email marketing. Email marketing still works. Email marketing to your database is I believe critical. So this is a phenomenal use of ChatGPT to help really expedite the creation and iterations of your emails. Take one topic, turn it into multiple topics, or take one topic and break it into multiple pieces of content, so that way you can distribute that. Now, since my next topic is social media, we'll actually just continue on this theme, and we'll take this example. So the ultimate client review strategy that not only do I use for my business, but I teach real estate agents. Right. So there's all 5 emails. So now let's do this. So now we're going to switch over to social media content, and let's turn around and say next, using the concepts in the email campaign, write 5 short form social media video scripts to be posted on Instagram, Reels, Facebook, and TikTok. The videos should all be under 60 seconds in length. Okay, so we're going to keep it short for this particular example, but we're going to turn around and we're now going to ask ChatGPT to take the content that we've already put into it, and we developed emails with it. Now we're going to take that and we're going to turn it into short form content, so that way we can put it out there for real estate agents and teach them. And once we have this short form video, we can then, once we've recorded this, done a little bit of editing, now we can take this short form video. Not only can we put it out on social media, but we can also use direct messaging, send this out to real estate agents directly to showcase, our desire to help them grow and build, and also send it out in additional email marketing. Maybe we create the short form video, and then we then put that back into some of our mass communication that we send out to real estate agents. Now, as you can see here, the videos that it's creating, so the script it's not fully building out the entire script. And so this is something that's exactly why we want to read what it's giving us as output, so that way we can critique it. And so what we could then do after it's generated these video scripts is we can say, okay, go back in and create a more in-depth video script because honestly, like these right here, I would argue that these scripts probably won't last 60 seconds unless you've got some other filler. But we can go in and ask ChatGPT to create a more comprehensive script that is a little bit more in depth as well. So that way we can go back and continue to iterate and tweak them. One last thing, I know we got to get going here. I'm gonna see if I can pull this up. So let's look up some real estate news online.
Hey, Sean.
Quick.
Hey, Sean, can you hear me? Sean?
See if it'll
Hey, Sean,
up
can you hear
fast
me?
enough. All right, so we're going to pull up an article on, see if we can get this USA Today.